All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Weighing Out Your Options. I'm your host, James Legends. Today, the first thing I want to go over is AMC. What's going on? There's going to be a dividend. There's going to be new shares called APE. Are they changing their shares to APE? What's the dividend going to be? I'm sure there's a lot of questions going through everybody's mind about this, so I'm here to kind of help and try to clear that up as best as I can. So as you can see here, we had AMC announce a special dividend in the form of APE preferred shares, and the stock falls. Now, this was published on August 4th when the stock did fall in the after hours after they released the earnings and the news. As we all must know, the day after, during the regular market hours, the stock actually ran up to 22 from 16. It had quite a gain off of this news. I think the reason is because a lot of people did not understand the news when it first came out, and then they actually started to understand afterwards. So we're just going to go over this a little bit here, right? So as you can see down here, you see the special dividend of one AMC preferred equity unit will be issued for each share of AMC Class A common stock, par value 1 cent per share. Now, I want to clear this up. A lot of people are believing that this means that the dividend is going to be 1 cent per share that you own. However, this is not the case. Par value 1 cent per share does not mean that you're getting 1 cent for the dividend. The actual dividend has actually not been announced yet. It is a special dividend that they will announce later on. Okay, the special dividend is expected to be paid at the close of business on August 19th, right? So that's about 2 weeks from now. We have about 12 days until that date. And AMC has applied to list its AMC preferred equity units on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol APE. Now, this means that they actually want to make a new branch of shares under the symbol APE for APE, obviously going off of the people who call themselves apes, Ape Nation. This has become a meme so they're kind of supporting that movement by doing this. However, this does not mean that they are changing their AMC ticker to APE. It just means that there is going to be a new ticker called APE. However, this has not actually been approved yet. This is something that they are only applying for at the moment. Okay, they will be issuing an APE dividend for each of their 516 million shares outstanding. Right, that's how many shares that AMC has outstanding right now, and they'll be issuing a dividend for each one of those. Now, I want to move over to the SEC.gov. Now, the SEC.gov actually shows you all the different filings that a company comes out with. So this is important because you could actually come on here and read in a little bit more detail about what is actually happening, right? Now, the first thing that I see here when looking at AMC's filings, as you can see up here, just to show you, this is AMC Entertainment Holdings Incorporated, right? So we come down here and we take a look at the filings. Now, one thing about filings when you're reading these is anytime you see an S dash, this means that there is an offering on the table. Now, this is an S-3 ASR. Now, the number 3 doesn't really matter too much. ASR, what this means is automatic shelf registration statement. So this is actually just an automatic reoccurring shelf statement that they have probably annually or biannually or however they do it, where this filing will come out and give them the permission to basically sell their shares at whatever price they determine on the offering. Now, when we click on this, this isn't going to give us much specific information. Unfortunately, this isn't going to show us the amount of shares that they're able to sell, what the price of the shares is, right, that they're going to sell at, right, because this is an automatic shelf registration statement. So basically what this is saying is that we have the ability to offer whenever we want. We can determine the aspect of the offering when we decide to do it, meaning that they are able to say, okay, we want to offer up 100 million shares at $22 per share. This is going to be our offering price. This is how many shares we can do. That information will all come in the future. So right now, all we have to go off here is that they can do an offering, right? Now, I also want to make this very clear. Let's come back to the news for a second. As you can see right here, this news, AMC Preferred Equity, gives AMC a currency that can be used in the future to strengthen our balance sheet. Now, what does this mean? This means that the CEO is basically creating these new shares of AMC under the stock symbol APE in an effort to actually raise money for the company, okay? And you can see right here, as a result, this dramatically lessens any near-term survival risk for AMC, meaning that in their heads, there is some kind of survival risk for the company right now, okay? So now when we have a company that number one just filed a shelf registration statement, meaning they can offer whenever they want. They just have to determine the terms of the offering. And number two is trying to raise money by now making new shares. Well, I would say that an offering is definitely not off of the table. Okay, so I would watch AMC to do an offering within the next couple of months. It may not happen too soon, but I would say that an offering definitely is coming. Let's go back to the filings really quick and look at this other filing, 8-A. Okay, so an 8 is basically just going to show you some events that have happened. So this is actually what's going to tell you about the dividend. Now, unfortunately, again, it doesn't actually tell you what the exact number is that people will be receiving for the dividend. Again, a 0.01 par value per share does not mean that that is what the dividend is going to be. But it is showing you the information that, okay, I'm going to receive a dividend for each share of AMC that I own. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the gist of this entire thing. It's also going to tell you about the voting rights for each share that you have, if you have any type of voting rights, right? Any type of redemption preemptive rights, all these types of things. However, the more important thing that's on everybody's mind is the special dividend. Now, all we know about that is that is going to be determined closer to the dividend date, right? So that's going to be on August 19th. Okay, and then we could also take a look really quick at their quarterly report, and this will actually show us how much money they made, how much money they have. We come down here and we go to their cash and cash equivalents, and then we come down to total assets. So all of these numbers are in millions. So these total assets are 9.818. So actually make this into millions, and you actually have, right, $9 billion, right? So they have $9 billion in total assets right now. Now, when we look at the assets, we also want to take a look at the liabilities. So let's come down to the total liabilities. Liabilities is basically any type of debt that the company may have on it right now. So when we take a look at the total liabilities, we see 12.145, right? So that's actually 12 billion in liabilities. So what this is showing us is that AMC actually has more in debt than they do in their assets, right? So obviously a company in this position where they have more debt than they do assets is going to need to raise money, right? This is exactly why that they're speaking about, oh, we need to raise money with these new ape shares. All right. So that's really all I wanted to talk about with that. And I also just wanted to take a quick look at the chart. I'm going to switch my screen to Webull. Okay, I'm going to switch my screen on here as well on Discord so you all can see it on there too. All right, and now we're taking a look at AMC. So this is your daily chart on AMC right now. So basically it was kind of trading in this huge triangle here, or these were your resistance and support lines, right? It came under it a little bit. As you can see, every time it came back up, bounced off, kind of bounced off. Okay, now we're above. We're going to hold support for a little while, right? So you could see that these lines are valid lines. Now we're like well above the line, right? After we've already bounced off the line, we've come back down a little bit and then rocketed back up off of the earnings news. So mainly the thing that I wanted to just do really quickly here was draw a Fibonacci extension on the stock. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here at the low of 1290. I'm going to bring it up to the high here at 34.33, and then I'm going to bring it down to the low at 970. Okay, why am I doing it this way? Basically, when I draw a Fibonacci, my thing is that I'm going to include whatever part of the chart that I want to be included in my extension, right? So I want to see how far it can extend to around this point. So that's why I included all of these points, and now this is going to show me all the points it needs to break to get back up. And lo and behold, as we could see on Friday, AMC was kind of stopped at this fib right here, the 61.8% fib, which is generally an important fib. So 22.94 is your fib here. It had a high of 22.77. It didn't hit that 22.94 to the T, but that is where it topped out for the day. So what I would say, if I was going to make a prediction for how the stock can move, it's either going to get rejected up here at 22.94 after filing its registration statement and all these things, or this news is coming out, right, about how they need to raise money. It might have a little bit of a pullback back to this 20.4, or if it's able to break over, let's just say 23 even for the sake of simplicity, it can break that 23 and then possibly move its way up to 26.50. right? That's how Fibonacci works, is that we just want to see what points it needs to get and stay above to kind of make its journey up to the next one and the next one. So that's my analysis on AMC for all y'all. Now we're going to switch it back to the Discord, and we're going to start the options segment of this, where we'll be going over implied volatility and credit spreads. So just give me one moment to switch all of my screens, and we'll get that started.